You might think you're doing everything right with your money. You work hard, you earn a decent income, maybe you even save a little every month. But if you're like most people, you still feel like you're running in circles, barely getting ahead, constantly worrying about bills, and wondering why true financial freedom always seems out of reach. Here's the harsh truth. It's not the economy, your salary, or bad luck that's keeping you stuck. It's your habits. And today, we're breaking down the 5 specific money habits that are quietly keeping millions of people poor. The crazy part? Most of them look completely normal. They're things your friends do, your coworkers do, maybe even things your parents taught you to do. But the very habits that make you feel financially responsible are often the ones sabotaging your long-term wealth. And if you don't fix them soon, they'll trap you in the same paycheck to paycheck cycle that over 60% of Americans are living in right now. Let's start with something Kevin O'Leary, yes, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, once said that hit me hard. I can't stand it when I see kids making 70 grand a year spending $28 for lunch. When you first hear that, it sounds extreme. $28? It's just lunch. But O'Leary wasn't talking about sandwiches. He was talking about mindset, the invisible pattern that turns tiny splurges into lifelong financial sabotage. Because when he sees someone dropping money like that, he doesn't see a meal. He sees lost compound growth. He sees that $28 becoming hundreds of dollars in the future, maybe even thousands, if it had been invested instead of consumed. That's the first money habit that keeps people poor, spending without discipline. We live in a world that rewards instant gratification. The apps on your phone, the ads you see online, even the way companies market self-care. Everything is designed to make you feel like you deserve to spend right now. But every time you choose short-term comfort over long-term growth, you're quietly giving away your financial future. O'Leary learned this lesson early from his mother, who took 20% of everything she earned and invested it in dividend-paying stocks and bonds every week without fail, for 55 years. She didn't make millions overnight. She built it through consistency, through discipline, through saying no to unnecessary purchases again and again. It's not about never enjoying life. It's about being intentional. Wealthy people understand that money has a time value. Every dollar you spend today is not just a dollar lost. It's the decades of growth that dollar could have generated. That's the power of compound effect, and it works both ways. Good habits multiply your wealth, bad ones quietly erode it. So when O'Leary says wealth comes down to one word, discipline, he's not being dramatic. He's giving you the blueprint. Because here's the truth. People who master the art of saying no, no to the new phone, no to the designer shoes, no to the treat-yourself impulse, are the ones who build freedom. The rest spend their lives paying off yesterday's decisions. But maybe you're thinking, okay, I'm disciplined. I save money. That brings us to habit number 2, saving instead of investing. This one feels responsible. It feels safe. You've probably been told since childhood that saving money is the key to security. But as Nicole Lapin, host of Money Rehab and best-selling author, explains, this mindset is exactly what traps the middle class. She says too many people confuse saving money with building wealth. Keeping your cash parked in a low-yield savings account feels prudent, but inflation quietly eats it alive. Over a decade, that safe money loses real buying power every single year. Think about it. You're not going to save your way into wealth. Inflation moves faster than your savings account interest rate ever will. Lapin puts it bluntly. You can't save or budget your way into wealth. True wealth comes from ownership of assets, of investments, of things that grow while you sleep. So if you've been hoarding cash and avoiding investing because it feels risky, understand this. Not investing is also a risk. It's the risk of letting your money shrink in real terms while the world gets more expensive around you. The wealthy know this. They make investing automatic, non-negotiable. They send a piece of every paycheck straight into stocks, index funds, or retirement accounts before they even see it. O'Leary recommends 15% off the top. Lapin says the same thing. The key is automation. When you remove the temptation to spend that money, you turn discipline into a system instead of willpower. And this ties into another huge trap. Habit number 3, lifestyle inflation. You've seen it, maybe you've even lived it. You get a raise, a bonus, or a promotion, and within months your expenses magically expand to match your new income. You move into a bigger apartment, upgrade your car, or start eating out more. What should have been your chance to accelerate savings becomes your new baseline for spending. This is one of the most common traps of the middle class. Lapin warns against it constantly. A bigger paycheck should create a bigger gap between what you earn and what you keep. But too often, it just funds a nicer car or bigger house. And the data backs it up. Studies show that even people earning six figures can end up living paycheck to paycheck because every increase in income gets swallowed by lifestyle upgrades. The worst part is how subtle it is. You tell yourself you're just improving your quality of life. You worked hard, you deserve it. But what's really happening is psychological. Once you adjust to a higher standard of living, it becomes nearly impossible to scale back. Your new normal becomes your new fixed cost. Kevin O'Leary calls this the closet test. Go look in your closet. How many things do you own that you rarely use or never wear? Those purchases felt necessary at the time, but now they're just symbols of short-term satisfaction. You wear 20% of what you own and 80% collects dust. The same pattern happens with our finances. We use a small part of our income effectively, and the rest disappears into lifestyle noise. Real wealth doesn't come from spending more when you earn more. It comes from keeping that gap between income and expenses as wide as possible, and funneling the difference into assets that grow. That's how people with average salaries retire wealthy. They let time and compounding do the heavy lifting, instead of constantly upgrading their lives to match their paychecks. The fourth money habit that keeps people poor is one that hides in plain sight. Buying status instead of freedom. The irony is brutal. The people who look rich are often the ones drowning in debt. The ones driving BMWs and wearing designer labels might actually have less net worth than the guy driving a 10-year-old Honda Civic. According to Experian Automotive, over 60% of households earning more than $250,000 a year don't drive luxury cars. They drive regular brands. Meanwhile, it's the middle class who often stretch their budgets to afford symbols of success. Why? Because we live in a culture where appearance equals worth. We chase the illusion of wealth instead of the substance of it. That $600 monthly car payment feels like success, but it's actually a wealth killer. Over 20 years, that same $600 invested could grow into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Real wealthy people understand this. They buy appreciating assets, not depreciating ones. They don't care about impressing strangers. They care about freedom, peace, and options. Buying status is a psychological trap. It feels good in the moment, but it locks you into the same paycheck-to-paycheck cycle you're trying to escape. The more you spend to look successful, the less you actually become successful. Because every dollar spent on image is a dollar that could have been building independence. Now let's talk about habit number 5, not having a system. Most people approach money reactively. They pay bills, then see what's left. They try to save instead of saving first. They invest occasionally instead of consistently. This lack of structure kills more financial progress than bad investments ever will. Thomas Corley, who studied hundreds of self-made millionaires, found that nearly all of them saved 10 to 20% of their income during their pre-millionaire years. And they did it systematically. They didn't hope to save what was left. They set a percentage, automated it, and treated it like rent. Non-negotiable. Most middle-class earners do the opposite. They spend first and save later, which means they rarely save at all. And when emergencies hit, a car repair, a medical bill, a job loss, they have no buffer. So they panic, borrow, and start the debt spiral all over again. That's how financial stress multiplies. Studies have shown that money worries can reduce cognitive performance by as much as losing an entire night's sleep. Think about that. Financial stress literally makes you think less clearly. The poorer you feel, the worse your decisions get, which keeps you poor. It's a vicious cycle. Breaking it requires structure. A clear, automated system that removes emotion from the process. Pay yourself first. Invest automatically. Build an emergency fund that covers at least 3 to 6 months of expenses. These are not advanced strategies. They're the foundation of every wealthy person's financial plan. And yet, most people skip them because they seem boring. Saving 15% automatically isn't exciting. Saying no to luxury upgrades doesn't look impressive. But here's the paradox. The wealthiest people are often the least flashy. They build quietly, consistently, behind the scenes. Because they understand something the middle class doesn't. Wealth isn't about what you spend, it's about what you keep and grow. Financial expert Nicole Lapin puts it perfectly. Wealth building is rarely about a single windfall or clever trade. It's the quiet accumulation that happens when you push more of your income toward ownership of stocks, businesses, or property, and let time work. So if you're wondering why you're not getting ahead despite working hard and earning decently, look at your habits. Are you disciplined with spending, or do small splurges add up? Are you saving but not investing? Are you letting your lifestyle expand every time your income does? Are you buying status instead of freedom? And do you have a real system, or are you just hoping things work out? Let's pause and connect the dots. All 5 habits have one thing in common. They come from emotional reactions, not logical plans. We spend because it feels good. We save out of fear, not strategy. We upgrade our lifestyle for validation. We buy status to fit in. We avoid systems because they're uncomfortable. But every one of these instincts pulls us further from financial independence. Here's the climax of the story. Building wealth is not about intelligence or luck. It's about emotional control. The discipline to delay gratification, to invest automatically, to live below your means even when you could afford more. That's what separates the truly free from everyone else. Kevin O'Leary learned it from his mother, who became wealthy by following simple rules. Never put more than 5% in one stock. Never more than 20% in one sector. Focus on dividend-paying assets and never spend the principal, only the returns. Nicole Lapin teaches it by showing people how to automate their money flow and stop mistaking activity for progress. And every millionaire study, from Thomas Corley to Dave Ramsey, echoes the same lesson. Discipline, automation, and patience are the holy trinity of wealth. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, stop looking for the next big thing and start fixing the small, consistent mistakes that are draining your potential. Stop spending without purpose. Stop letting your savings rot in a bank account while inflation eats it. Stop inflating your lifestyle every time you earn more. Stop buying symbols of success that hold you back from the real thing. And stop leaving your financial future to chance. Because at the end of the day, wealth isn't built by what you do once, it's built by what you do every day. Think about the compound effect one more time. Just like O'Leary's $28 lunch example, every unnecessary purchase today isn't just money lost, it's your future freedom, compounded backwards. Over 40 years, that kind of unconscious spending can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the reverse is also true. Every disciplined habit you build compounds forward. Every dollar you invest automatically. Every raise you don't inflate. Every piece of status you skip in favor of simplicity. All of it multiplies quietly, invisibly, until one day you wake up financially free. That's the real secret the wealthy understand. Wealth isn't loud, it's silent. It's built in the background, through small, boring, consistent decisions that nobody sees. And the best part? You don't need to be a genius, a CEO, or a lottery winner to do it. You just need to stop doing these 5 things, and let time and discipline do the rest. Watch the next video and see how the people who understand where the money's moving next always win. And if you're serious about staying ahead of that shift, hit subscribe. You'll want to see what's coming next. Oh, and if you're thinking of starting your own investing journey, take a look at the link in the description. It's the platform I personally use to explore global markets.